Hey, welcome everyone. Welcome to another episode of Caspio Labs. Thank you all for joining us today. If you're able to hear me, as always, I like to do a quick housekeeping item. Let me know that you can hear me okay, and we can go ahead and begin. Just let me know in the chat window if you can hear me okay, please, and I will proceed with today's lecture loud and clear. All right. Hey, Rosa. Perfect. Yeah, good to see you as well. Hey, King Capo. Let me just begin by saying forgive me if mentally I'm not all there today, just because, as you guys know, we do have if you've been on our website, we do have a team in Ukraine. And many of the people that I worked there for many years now, I consider them my close friends. So we literally just finished our all hands meeting, and just to hear the stories, what's happening over there is really sad. And it's just, you feel helpless. So forgive me if mentally I'm not all there. It's just, feeling helpless and not being able to help in any way other than offer words of support. That's about as much as we can do today. And it's just unfortunate to see, because I have a lot of friends on both sides, both in Ukraine and also in Russia. And I can just tell you that nobody really wants a part of this. And it's just unfortunate that innocent people have to, pay the ultimate price. And it's just very sad to see. But anyway, just wanted to mention that really quickly because it's on my mind, because we just talked about it not long ago. So if I'm not all there mentally, please forgive me. But let's go ahead and get into our session today. Today's topic is how to create a COVID-19 employee self-screening questionnaire. I think a lot of companies are reopening the doors to their employees. So when they're coming in, they want to run a quick test just to see, if they have any symptoms, and if they do, to stay at home until the symptoms have subsided, and then they can come into the office either the next day or whenever they're feeling better. So, as I was building my my application, I came to a realization that, so here's the form we're going to be looking at today. This is a very simple form for employees to quickly fill out a couple of questions or answer a couple of questions. I also added a quick signature for them to sign, first name, last name, date submitted, and submit the form. I know I promised you last week that we're going to do something dynamic, and I will show you that as well. But then I was thinking there's really no point to doing that, because you can just add a simple stipulation here in the heading to say, if you do answer yes to any one of these questions, please stay at home. That way you can avoid doing something dynamic, if you don't have to. But again, because I promised you this last week, I am going to show you how I went about creating a dynamic response as well. So when you fill out the form, on the subsequent screen, you're going to see a dynamic response based on their input here in the questions. And also, I created a very simple report that's going to allow people to log in, or HR to log in and be able to see the submissions from all of the employees. Now, I didn't spend too much time building the report. I could make this look much nicer, but I just wanted to create something very simple, because that's not the point. The point is to see how we can see that dynamic response and how to create that very simple form. And also the task that's going to run at 4 o'clock in the morning or 5 o'clock in the morning, depending on when you want to send an email to your employees the day before they arrive to work. Okay, so let me go to my tables first. I'm going to show you what tables I have. And very simple, I have two tables. I have the table of users, and inside this table, the important field here is the email field, okay, that I already have. Now, I wanted to show you how to do an SMS notification as well, but I didn't want to expose anybody's phone number in today's live stream, so that's why I opted out just to use the email. But you can use the same type of workflow if you want to send an SMS to your employee's mobile number or mobile phone, okay? So my fields, I have very standard fields. We have user ID, name, I have the email, we have the password field, role. Now for my employees, I don't need them to log in to submit that questionnaire. Okay, so I'm just going to send them a link, because we don't want to create another barrier for them to log in and then fill out the form. We just want them to quickly wake up, click on the link, fill out that form, and see if they're going into the office or not going into the office. But I also have one more user role called HR. And I want the HR to log in and be able to see all the submissions. Okay, so that's my table. My second table that I have is the questionnaire table. And we have 12 questions. Again, nothing complicated regarding this table. We have the ID. We have the questions that we want to ask. Some questions are a little bit longer than others. We have the signature, first name, last name, and date submitted. Now my task, let me open it. Right now I'm going to run the task on demand, but typically the way I would set this up, if I want this to be automated, is you can configure this to be sent out, let's say weekly, and I want to send this task Monday through Friday. And then you can set the time when you want that task to run. So let's say we're going to run that task at 4 a.m. I don't know, maybe the employees are coming in at 5 a.m. Who knows? But just to ensure that you receive that task, that email, you can send that earlier in the day. And then now every single day at 4 a.m., we're going to have this task run where we send an email from this email address. We connect to our user table. We pull the email field. Here's my subject line. And then here's the link to my form that they're going to click on to fill out that questionnaire. All right, so now let's go to data pages. And the first form we're going to look at is the non-dynamic response, which, once you fill out the form, you're going to know right away if you're going to be going into the office or not. Okay, it's very clear here in the heading, if you follow the instructions. Okay, so then the form itself, let me edit, links back to our questionnaire table. I include all of my fields into the form. And then I always like to use a little bit of HTML, CSS to make the form look a little bit nicer. And again, as always, if you guys want to do something like this where you centered the form, a lot of times when I have a standalone form like this one, I don't really need to embed this into a web page. I can just use a direct link by Caspio. And what I like to do is I like to center the form. I like to put a background color, some shadow around it, and then put everything here in the middle. So if you guys want something like that, it's actually not that complicated, I promise you. Okay, it's just everything that you see between the style. That's how you are able to center the form, put a background color, and this is what you'll need to follow. And I will make this available in the description of the video later today. Okay, so if you guys want something like that, you can also apply it to your applications. Basically, you set the margin to 60 pixels. So the first number, the first value here is top and bottom on the web page. And the second value, which is auto, now if you place it as auto, that's going to create a even width from left to right. Okay, so it's automatically centering that form in the middle of the web page if you set the value to auto. But the 60 pixel that you see in the front puts 60 pixels here on top of the form. So it pushes the form down a little bit. Then I have my box shadow, which creates that shadow around the form. And I set the width to my form to 1000 pixels. Okay. For the body, you can see my property and value. We have the background color, which I set to this light gray color. And that's how we're getting this light gray behind the form. Okay. I'm very interested in that signature field. Okay, perfect. So the signature field is very easy to implement. If you go to forums.caspio.com and you go to JavaScript Solutions and you click on, where is it? It's here somewhere. I can't find it. Oh, adding a digital signature to a submission form. So you click on that. I will share this link with you guys. If you follow this tutorial, you will be able to set this up yourself in literally 2 minutes. I promise you it's super simple if you just follow all the instructions that are on the screen here. Okay? And then you will see how even on the results page, when we look at the details, I don't know which one of these have a signature, but if I go to details here, yeah, you can see the signature displayed here in the details page. You can also have the signature in the results page. I chose not to do that. So you could have everyone's signature here in the results page, but I decided just to include it in the details page. But you'll see in this solution here, if you follow the instructions, we give you different ways of how you can include that signature in different places. Okay. All right, moving on. All of my questions are very simple yes or no, radio button. Okay. As you can see, if I go down to the list of my fields, they're all yes or no. On the next page, all I have is a very simple, your submission was successful. Okay, very simple form. Now let me show you how to create this using a dynamic response And believe it or not, I didn't use any JavaScript for this because it's either going to be yes, come into the office, or no, don't come into the office. So it's one or the other, okay? And there's a very simple way to do that in Caspio. So here, let me open up my dynamic response. I'll make one submission so that you can see. Actually, we'll make two submissions. So let's say you said yes to one of these, and the rest of them are no, because I made all my fields required. Let's make sure they're all selected. We'll just do a quick signature. We'll do Sally Smith, date submitted, maybe today, and we hit submit. Okay, so there's my dynamic response. Okay, please stay at home until your symptoms have subsided. If you have any further questions, you can contact the HR team. Now, however, if you did say no to all of the questions, so let's say you don't have any symptoms at all, and you make one more signature here. So Smith, we'll make a submission, hit submit, and now you're going to see a completely different response. Okay? Is it a one or the other? And I'm taking advantage of the Rules tab in the Details page to accomplish this. But before we look at that Details page, let's take a look at the form first so that you can see what I did. Everything here is still the same. We have all the questions that are yes or no. But on this page, I'm using a different data page to send a user to. But in the midst of sending the user to that page, I'm also passing all of the parameters from those, all of the answers from those questions that we asked. Okay, so we have question mark to initiate the string. We have Q1, which is the first question, equal sign, and then I insert the response, either yes or no. Okay, in the URL. That's why here on my results page, you can see how I'm passing all of the questions and the responses inside the URL. Let's come back here. And then in order to pass multiple values, you simply use an ampersand in between. So question 2, question 3, you can see I have all of them here listed. Question 3, question 4, question 5, etc. Okay? So all we're doing is passing the response to the subsequent page. And that second page, which is my details page, I'm going to hit edit. I'm using a details view. Hit next, 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 next. You have to include one field, but we hide that field later on. Okay, so for now, we just included one field, any field you want. It's completely up to you. And now you're going to see how we use the Rules tab to receive that information that we passed from the submission form. Okay, so today you're going to learn something new. If you haven't done this before, it's a really cool way to receive the parameter and use the Rules tab to decide what response we're going to be able to see. Here, all I'm doing is hiding my date submitted field between my two HTML blocks. There's no reason for me to display the date field. Okay, I just need the employee to see the response. Okay, and this is just a simple heading that says your results. You can see here your results. Okay, so don't worry about this div tag that you see here at the top. All the header is doing is centering that form, that response. So same thing as on the submission form. All the style is doing is centering everything, putting the background color and also the shadow around the box. Okay. I created two sections and two HTML blocks. We have section 2. We have an HTML block 3 with the response. And we have section 3 and HTML block 4 with the response. So you can see both responses. Now, how we control what shows up is using the Rules tab. So rule number 1, using an OR criteria in between each one of the answers. So if you answered yes to any one of these, so question 1 is yes, or question 2 is yes, or question 3 is yes. So that's why we have to use OR. Okay, so here are all of my responses that are being received for all the questions, and we have a total of 12 questions. Okay, just so that you can see how we did that, let me hit edit. Notice that condition, a lot of videos that I've done in the past, I usually use the field name condition, but now you can see how we receive the parameter from the submission form. So we receive Q1 equals to yes, Q2 equals to yes, but you're using OR in between each answer. Because all we need is one answer to equal to yes. And if that's the case, I want to hide section 2. What is section 2? This is the response for section 2. You can come into the office today. So I'm hiding that section. if you said yes to any one of the questions. And this is the one that we're displaying. Please stay at home until your symptoms have subsided because you answered yes to one of the questions. Okay? Now, rule number 2 is the exact opposite. For this one, I have to use and. Because now all of the questions need to be no in order for you to get that response. So you have to answer no to all of them. So it's not or anymore, it's and. So this, question 1, question 2, question 2, they all have to equal to no. And then we hide the section 3 in that case. So if all of them equal to no, upon submission, we hide this section. Please stay at home. And we show that HTML block. You can come into the office because you said no to all the questions in the previous form. Okay, so that's how I chose to handle that without using any script whatsoever. We could use script as well, but this is a much easier way and much more cleaner way, in my opinion, without having to use any code. Now, this is a no-code way to give people the response either yes or no. And with this task, which I'm going to run on demand really quickly so that you can see. So let's just run it now. I'll just open up my email and wait for that task to come in. Hopefully. It'll come in, unless I made some changes, which I don't think that I did. Hopefully there isn't a huge delay. Because I did want to show you that email and how we can click on that form. Usually it's pretty quick. I know when I was testing this earlier today, the email did come in. So hopefully. Oh, I think it's here. Here it is. So let me put it in my inbox. And let's open it. And here's the email. Okay, there's that link. So now the employee, when they wake up, you know, they get this either via email or SMS. They can click on that link and they can get to that form. Okay, we can also notify the HR of that submission. And now the HR can log in and have a nice report where we can see all of the submissions that are coming in. So there's the latest one, Bo Smith. We can go to the details, and here I can see the signature and all of the responses. Okay. And that's really all the content that I wanted to show you, because this is really the extent of what the companies are looking for. They don't want anything too complicated. They're just looking to put a simple solution in place for now. And I think it's good to have in general something like this, even if there was no COVID, because why would you want sick employees to come into the office and get somebody else sick? So I don't know. We might see this moving forward, depending on how companies decide to roll this out. But it's a very simple and effective solution where you can automate the email and SMS process for people to submit the form. If you want to make it a simple solution, you don't have to do a dynamic response. You can just stipulate something in the heading to let them know, hey, if you answer yes to one of the questions, don't come in. Or you have a solution to do a dynamic response as well. Okay. And that is really all that I wanted to share with you today. If you guys want to be able to download this entire workflow, I'll tell you what, I'll make this available, the whole application, the whole workflow that I did here and shown you in the demo today. I'll make it available as a download in the description video as well, so that you can see how I did the dynamic response. So you'll be able to import the entire application. Okay, and then inside that application, you'll be able to open up the data page. That's what I'll do. I'll just let you guys download the entire application. So if you wanted to see my HTML and CSS, you can just edit the data page. And in the header, you'll be able to see what I did inside my style. Now, if you want to incorporate the digital signature, you can also, this is pertaining to the digital signature. And you'll see that in that forum. When you follow this tutorial, you'll be able to see why this is in the header. Okay. Thanks, Katie. You know, I read your email about the passing parameter in the pop-up modal window, and I can't think of a reason why you would need to directly from the results page to the modal window, unless you first pass the parameter from the results page to the details page. Because like you said in the email, typically what you stamp is the ID of the user that's logged in. So I can't think of another reason why you would want to send the parameter to the modal window in that specific scenario. I'll try to think of something, but I was thinking about it briefly and I wasn't able to come up with the reason why you would need to do that. But I'll see if I can come up with something, okay? Thank you all for attending today's live stream. Let me see if I missed anything in the chat window. I understand that choosing the text field type in the table is okay because you can change it to anything, but why didn't you choose yes or no in the picture for these questions? Why didn't you choose yes or no type in the picture for these questions in the picture? You mean like a checkbox? Yes or no? Because I wanted to do a radio button response. So if you want to do a radio button, you have to use text 255. Okay, if you choose yes or no data type, it's going to be a checkbox for them to check it off. You can do that, but I prefer having the radio button selection for them to choose yes or no. I think it's a little bit more clear. And that's just my preference. Okay. The signature field can also work on a touch screen if the user wants to use the... Yes, so it'll work with the finger as well. I wish I can show you that, but I can't. I don't have a touchscreen computer. Yeah, yes or no type field in the table. You could do that, but I think text 255 is better in this case because of the radio button and because the way I pass my values as yes or no. You can also do it with the checkbox, but I think it's easier if you just do text 255 in this case. I think it's a little bit more cleaner. And it gives you more flexibility to do more things in the workflow. Okay? So I know it's not maybe something that you were hoping to develop yourself, but at the very least, you learn how to do something new today where when you submit the form, you can pass the value. And on the next page, you can receive the value as a parameter and then use the rules tab to control based on that value that was received what you want to display on the next page. But I will say that only works if you're doing a response that has an answer one or the other, only two possible answers. If you have 3 or more, I think in that case, you have to use JavaScript. Hey, Husseini. Yeah, welcome. Yeah, there will definitely be other opportunities. We have the live stream every Monday at 10 a.m. It's always at the same time, but the videos are always available on our YouTube channel right after the live stream ends, so you'll be able to watch this session even after the session concludes today. Right? How do you get the recording? Just check the Caspio channel on YouTube. You'll be able to access our live sessions directly on YouTube. You should be able to find it. Okay. In fact, as soon as the session concludes today, if you look for Caspio, let's say COVID-19 or something like that. So if you run a search on YouTube just for Caspio COVID-19, based on those keywords, you should be able to pull up today's live stream. Just give it a few minutes. Okay, and I will make the application downloadable in the description of the video a little bit later today. Just give me maybe an hour or two, and you'll see in the description of the video where you can download the whole app. And then inside your account, you can go to Tools, you can click on Import, and you can bring the entire application into your account. And then here on the home page, you'll be able to see the COVID-19 employee self-screening app. And then from there, you can explore the application and see how I did everything. Okay. All right. Not a very long session today. I still haven't chosen the topic for next week, but it will be available either today or tomorrow on the YouTube channel. So check back in and you'll be able to see what session we're going to have next Monday. Okay, but I have a few topics in mind. If anybody wants to place priority on something that you were hoping to do yourself, let me know in the chat window if you'd like to see something. Okay, and I can definitely include that in the next live stream. Thanks, Katie. Always nice chatting with you. All right. So what I'll do here is I will close the live stream. I'll keep the chat open for a few more minutes. If anybody has any last-minute feedback or questions, let me know. If not, looking forward to seeing you guys next Monday. And hopefully everyone stays safe. Bye-bye for now.